to think about a dream. Whatever dream that is, I want you to invest in that dream. I want you to believe in that dream. I want you to dare to do that dream. And if you dare, you'll be able to do. This is your moment to be present in your dream. I love you guys. Leave it on the deck. Hi everyone, my name is Roque Berlanga, Artistic Director and founder of Actors Professional Theater Conservatory, also known as APTC. And today we're going to be focusing on character building. Now, a lot of us think or have the misconception that we can only create characters from a script or text or something our teacher gave us or an exercise that we were given from our professor that had language and a character breakdown with it. And today we're kind of going to break down all of that, kind of dispel all of that, and just focus on the artist. And just focus on where all of these creative ideas come from. Whether it be you're doing Streetcar Named Desire, or Anything Goes, or any other kind of book, musical, or play, everything begins with two things. What you bring from yourself and what you bring from your mind or your imagination. And today we're going to start right there with the kernel of truth of where creative energy and creative inspiration comes from. And we're going to do that by building characters from the ground up with no preconceived notions, no prompts, nothing, just letting our hearts, our minds, and our bodies informing the characters that we're going to create. And so as you can see, I've kind of cleared out my living room. I would encourage you to do the same. Find a basement, a garage, maybe your front lawn, your driveway, or push your mom's dining room table out of the way or coffee table out of the way and get yourself a lot of space because we're gonna be walking a lot through the next couple of minutes, all right? So first things first, what do we have? We just have ourselves. Is that all we need? Yes, absolutely. After that, after we establish that and we have all of our space, now what we're going to do is we're just gonna walk. And if you ever decide to continue to do theater or any sort of acting exercises, it's always going to begin with walking. Get used to walking all the time, walking in neutral, and then building something from there. It's the ground level baseline start of any kind of acting exercises that you will be doing throughout your artistic career. So, as you can see, I have a nice little space in my living room, and we're just gonna start walking. Just at neutral, just walk around the space. I'm thinking of anything. Maybe shake out a couple of things. Maybe your sister annoyed you. Maybe you didn't get that last pancake or last piece of bacon this morning, or you ran late to work or to your classroom, or maybe the dog got in your way. Just kind of shake off all of that energy. Just walk around the space. A couple of big deep breaths. And then when you get into a place where you feel like you've kind of released any sort of tension, any sort of gunk that you've been carrying around the day before you started this exercise, now I want you to stop. And when I say stop, I'm going to ask you to point yourself towards some real estate. And what I mean by that is a long stretch of area where you don't have to immediately turn around. So if I said point yourself to real estate and you chose something like this, obviously I can't really move that much to establish a good general baseline walk. So I'm going to choose this area because I have a lot of space here. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to relax. Just going to relax. And take a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. And then what I want you to do, without thinking, just make one step. Just one step forward, and just kind of register that. How did my foot land? How did my heel land? How did my arch land? How did my toes need to support that step? And we're gonna go back to neutral. We're gonna do it one more time. We're just gonna step. How did that feel? Great. So now that we got the first part down, which is something we do all the time, we're going to repeat that very step again, and as we register with all of the nerve endings and the creative receptors in our feet, we're going to copy this step into our next foot, into our next step. So we're just gonna copy and copy. All right, great. So let's pause. Let's go back to the beginning. Big breath in. Big breath in, big breath out. And again, without thinking, we're gonna take our first step and match that with our next step. And that's all we're doing. We're just gonna try to create identical steps. Every way each of our feet land is going to be identically the same. That's all we're doing. That's all we're gonna do, is just copy. All right? I'm gonna do a big breath in. Here we go. So I'm just copying what each step felt like. I'm just kind of registering right now how that feels. How is that feeling, and how is that informing us everything else right now? Just kind of focus right now on your feet. How is each heel landing? How are the arches landing? How are your toes having to support the rest of your body with this walk? Now what we're going to do is we're going to start building up. So now that I have kind of my feet figured out, kind of have a good idea of how this walk is, I'm just going to now think about my calves and my ankles. How do they want to react to this walk? Great. And just use your whole space. Don't go in a circle. Kind of change directions as much as you want. Because remember, as people, we walk in all different ways. We're not a school of fish. We don't walk in a circle. We just walk in every kind of different direction. People get in front of us and we dodge. People come stop in front of us and we stop and we move to the side. So we want to just kind of get a good kind of mixture of this area. And now that we are thinking about our calves, I just tripped. That's great. That happens too. Everything matters. Now that we are thinking about our ankles, thinking about our shins, I want us to move up to my knees. Now, with my knees, what do my knees want to do? Do they want to be out? How does that feel? Do they want to be in? How do my knees want to support my toes, my heels, my arch, the top of my feet, my toenails? How do they want to? Do they want to go out? Maybe they want to go out. Again, we're just walking. Super simple. Just trying to keep it simple here. All right, so now I kind of feel like I want my knees to do this. Okay. Now, what do my hips want to do? See, we're just slowly moving up. What do my hips want to do? Do they want to be in? Want to be out? Do they want to be a little bit stiffer? They're a little stiffer. What does that do to my knees? And how does that support this walk? Great. So right now I can automatically already start to feel that my hips and my derriere over here This badunk dunk. This milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. What does it want to do? Does it want to like switch? Is this kind of a thing it wants to do? Does it want to be in? Does it want to be out? Now remember, we still have the same walk that's going on in our feet. We haven't changed that. Now all we're doing is informing the rest of our body based on our feet, based on walking, based on something simple that we do every single day. All right, so now, I feel like my hips and my booty kind of knows where it wants to go. Okay, great. So now I'm gonna focus on my stomach. Does my stomach want to be out? In? Side? Now, as I'm moving my stomach, some things are also shifting, right? Great. So, I think it wants to be just a little bit kind of like, just a little up. I think that's what I want. Great. Now, what does my chest want to do? My chest want to be out, in, kind of concave. So I'm going to do the side, to the side, back. Remember, how does my chest need to support the rest of my body? How does my chest want to respond to the way my knees are moving, to the way my hips are moving, to the way my butt is? I think it's just going to be kind of a little bit out like this. Great. Now what about my shoulders? What do my shoulders want to do? Do they want to be forward? Do they want to be back? Do they want to be kind of cattywampus? Huh? A little bit of that action? I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Great. Okay, so let's see. Kind of feel like with this up and this a little forward, that my shoulders want to be just a little bit kind of maybe guarded. Great. Okay, good. Good. So now I'm like here. Okay. Now I've got this thing going on. I don't know what it is yet. Now, what does my neck want to do? How does my neck want to support this character? How does it want to support that melon of a head that I have? Hashtag blessed. How does it want to support this melon, this cantaloupe, on top of my neck? How does it want to support it? Great, okay, so we're doing this, we're kind of doing this thing. Okay, great. So now I'm kind of built up from the spine all the way down to my toes. It's just kind of, gonna loosen it up. And when I say loosen it up, I'm just gonna try to make it a little bit more natural. Now, what do these appendages want to do? What do these arms and hands want to do? Do they want to be here? Do they want to be here? Where do my hands want to naturally go? Great, okay. Maybe it's here. Now, my hands and arms now kind of have rested here. Now let's think about anything else. What else can we do to color this character? Now that we've created this character, now that we're walking into space, we've created something from nothing, building from the ground up. What do we want the rest of our bodies to look like? What are other kind of attributes or like details? Because remember, art and magic is in the details. What do we want to have in there? Maybe, so my hand is kind of naturally doing this thing. Don't know what this is. Let's figure that out. And then I feel like, I feel like I have a purse or like a merce, maybe a satchel. Great. And we're just kind of here. Yeah. I'm holding a satchel. Side note, somehow the first characters I always build have like some sort of satchel. I don't know why. Maybe it's the baggage I carry around in everyday life. I have no idea. Great. So, So now we're here. Do I have glasses? Maybe I have some glasses on. Yeah, so now I have glasses. How do I perceive the world through these glasses? What do I see? Great. Now I feel like I have a pretty good character. Now let's see what happens emotionally. Now let's start to bring this bad boy into mind. What happens to me emotionally if I slow down the pace? What kind of character does that make me want to be? Great. Now see, now that I know what my feet want to do every single step, I can kind of begin to have a little bit of variations in my pacing. Okay, so this slow pace made me want to be very, very cautious. Okay, great. Now let's see what happens if I pick it up. What does that do? Now, if you're noticing, this physicality has stayed basically the same throughout this entire process. So I have this on, just making sure that everything is there. Checking my phone, putting it back in, bring this up. Great. Great, good. Now let's think, where is this person going? Where are we going? Okay, just for kind of to quicken this up, I'm going to say I'm going to the store. Going to the store. Okay, now I'm going to the store. Who is this person? What is this person's name, and why are they going to the store? So now I feel like this person is, her name is Irene. Great. Okay, so now I have Irene and she's going to the store. What is she doing? What is she thinking? What does she need to get? What is on her list? What is on her grocery list? Why is she going right now? Why did she choose right now at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to go? Maybe it's 1 o'clock, maybe it's 2 o'clock. I don't know. There's no time, there's no space. It doesn't matter. You're creating it yourself. Great, okay. Why am I going to the store? What am I getting? What is on my list? And now that you have this character, now that I have Irene, I think it's Irene in my brain, and now I have my list, and I know why I'm going, and I can kind of start to think about this neighborhood that I'm in. What neighborhood am I in? Why do I have my purse or my bag so close to me? And now that we have Irene, we can just now start. The next thing I want you to do is to just stream of consciousness, just start talking as your character. And just talk about why you're going to the store. Why am I going to the store? All right? So we're gonna do this. Just keep walking. And we're gonna start going to talk about the store. Now, well, I really didn't have a lot of things to do today, and I just needed to get out of the house. I just needed to get out of the house. Now, notice that if I get stuck, I'm just gonna repeat the same last sentence to kind of get me looping, and then using that as a springboard to the next place. So I just had to get out of the house. I had to get out of the house, and I just knew that I needed some chicken stock. I needed chicken stock, and I needed mayonnaise. And I really have this great tuna fish recipe that has a really good combination of mayonnaise, capers, and chicken stock. And so I just need these three things. And I know right now that the supermarket is less busy in the afternoon because everyone's at work right now. Everyone's at work, and I'm gonna go get them. I'm gonna go get those things right now. And I just really love mayonnaise. And I really love chicken stock. I could bathe in chicken stock. The amount of chicken stock that I go through is criminal. It's basically criminal. I basically have a bathtub with a ladle and a turkey baster, and I just bathe myself in chicken stock because it's really good for the pores, and it's just like bone broth. It's just like bone broth, and bone broth is so nutritious, right? Because like Gwyneth Paltrow does it all the time. So that's why I'm going to the store. And my name is Irene. All right, great. I'm a little dizzy. I kind of know where I am. So let's just walk that off. Walk. And walk in neutral. So, what did we learn other than I'm doing crazy stuff in my living room? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Did we see that whoever we just created, whether it's Irene, Fred, Travis, Doug, Cynthia, whoever, came out of nowhere. There was no prompts for me other than what I started with, which was just 2 tiny steps. That's all it took. So now we can kind of remember that, kind of log Irene into the Rolodex characters. And then at a moment's notice, we can go back into Irene. We can go back into Irene and then kind of just like let her go, put her back in the Rolodex, kind of put her there. And we see that what we did was we created a character that was pretty realistic, someone that you would probably see on the streets, in your neighborhood or in your supermarket, out of nothing. And that they were believable, and that I did not need anything but my heart and my mind and my artistic energy and my soul to start that off. All I did was trust my instrument to create a character. Now, where we go from this is we start to build more and more characters, and they become quicker, and they become faster, and they become more dynamic and more interesting and more complex. And we start to build this Rolodex again, this like filing cabinet of characters that we can just pull from. They become kind of our stock characters and our bag of tricks. Now this next step that we're gonna do on this next video, the next time I join you, is we're going to put these characters that were based out of nothing and put them on paper, so that now we have a character that we developed from nothing and have some sort of physical representation that we can just pull, and then we can create a monologue that is based in truth, that is based in imagination, and is based entirely on something that is super unique, super special, and individual, which is you. All right? So I hope this was informative. I hope this was a little bit of fun. I hope you didn't trip on your dog, your coffee table, or your baby sister. And I invite you to join us next time as we build the character from the ground up to the page. Thanks. Have a great day.